Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. Give you some of the ones that stood out from their press conference today. Shanahan asked if he cares about this whole "you can't win the big one" there, Kyle.
I mean, you'd love to fix perception, because I would love to win one for what I know about football and stuff. And I know if I fix perception, that means I did everything I wanted to do, which isn't fix perception. It's win a damn Super Bowl. But I also know, like, when you say big games, like, we've got to win a bunch of big games to get to Super Bowls. We've won a lot of big games here. We've won a lot of big games to get into playoffs. The fact that we keep getting there shows you guys how much we've been win games or big games, and I think you guys are aware of that. But it's, these 2 Super Bowls have been tough, losing to Kansas City. But to think that if we win that means I can win a big game. No, that means our team won the Super Bowl. That's what I understand. You guys can have any narrative you want, but like the success or the failure, it comes down to one game. And I hope that I can be a part of a team that wins a game at the end of the year. But to say that the Niners can't win a big game, it would be an extremely inaccurate statement.
Kyle's right, and I feel for him, because what he's fighting right there is a losing battle, but I wish it was a winning battle. Here's what I mean by that. He's 100% right. The whole way the sports world turns right now. And we're part of this, no doubt. But the media, the fans, the whole process of watching sports, it's just more interesting when we highlight individuals. Remember having that conversation with Steiny a few weeks ago? We were all talking about it. And he did a whole show. But, team. It's not about individuals. It's about team. And I'm like, you remember David Stern? David Stern was the one who started marketing it as individuals, right? This is Magic versus Bird.
Right. And Giannis against Steph.
There you go.
All that.
And LeBron versus Kobe on Christmas, whatever it is. And that's more interesting to us than what is the actual reality, which is this has never been about, can Kyle win the big game? Can Kyle win the big game? Kyle's process doesn't work. He turtles up. He never learns. He doesn't know how to hold a lead. All of these things that many of you are running around saying in the streets right now, to me, are totally blown up by the idea of somebody named Spencer went the wrong way. That's what killed a play. Someone named Spencer was told by Kyle to go one way, or actually told by the center. If you really want to know the way Kyle Shanahan's process works, the center is the one who's in charge of setting the assignments for the offensive line.
Did you see that he spoke on that today?
Spencer did.
Yes,
and he took responsibility. He said
I should have just played within the scheme.
Yeah.
Played on instinct. It was my fault.
Listen to that. He's like he's essentially telling you, I should have done what Kyle told me to do, but I didn't.
Or what the center. You're right. The center makes the calls, and, we're shifting to the right, and he played on instinct and went to the left, and he left Chris Jones unblocked, which is not advisable in these circumstances.
But 20% of radio shows are going, should we fire Kyle Shanahan because someone named Spencer went the wrong way and someone named Daryl was in the wrong spot on a punt?
Well, it's what Kyle said in his answer right there. The word he used is the word that fuels what we do. It fuels the internet. It fuels a lot of what drives all these sports, and the word is narrative. And we all have our narrative, and the narrative, like the takeaway, we all want to talk about Kwaski Tart and a dropped interception and an overthrow to Emmanuel Sanders. These are one play. But as you get further from these games, we will distill the Super Bowl down to one sentence, one idea, one narrative. Think about the Bills. If I ask you about the Bills' first Super Bowl loss, you're going to say Scott Norwood, wide right. Well, look at the totality of that game. Was he the reason why they lost the game? No. If he makes the kick, they win. Yeah. Same thing with Jake Moody against Cleveland. The real narrative is P.J. Walker carved you up.
Went down the field on you.
Right. So all these games, we get into these convenient narratives. And that's what Kyle, and I liked Kyle's answer because he's like, the narrative is we can't win the big one, but, like you said, beating Green Bay in the divisional, that's a big one. Winning the conference championship game, that's a big one. Now, the Super Bowl is the biggest of the big ones. Does that mean Kyle's a choker?
No,
because some guy named Spencer went the wrong way.
Well, and we like to enter
narratives.
we like to enter machismo into this as well. Like it's never
Canis mas macho.
Well, it's never cool to compliment someone who didn't win in the end. And I've never looked at life that way. There's one winner and 31 losers. No, stop calling.
Losers.
So the Niners are the Panthers? Same thing? Get out of here. That's BS.
We get the same amount of Lombardis this year.
Yeah, fair. You got it. And I want to do this respectfully, but I want to address a comment that just came in on YouTube. Matt Brendlin, thank you for being here. It means the world that you watch our show. It really does. It's an honor. He says, Willard, I know you got a big old crush on Shanahan, and you're right. I call myself Shanaman when I'm at home. But he goes on, there's a middle ground between fire Kyle now and, quote, he's untouchable, he can do no wrong. What's the definition of insanity? Well, the definition of insanity, Matt, would be obviously doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. However, I think it's a terrible example or comp to use here. We're nowhere near there yet. 49ers have been good for 5 years, and I would argue that it's not insane to want to be in the Final Four every year because you are going to break through. Steve Kerr was on this radio show 20 minutes ago, Matt, and just said to you something that you should listen to. What you're all calling him right now, you called Andy Reid 20 years ago. Now none of you can get off Andy's jock. Well, Andy's Bill Walsh. No, he got Mahomes. He got Mahomes. Why did Steve Kerr win a title the second he arrived? You think it was Steve? Did he come in and tweak a thing or two? Sure. Is he winning it without Steph? Like, this whole idea, and I'm not trying to call him he's untouchable, he can do no wrong. My point today is those of you who are putting this all on Kyle, you're just failing to take the time to look deep into what actually happened here. And there is also success in getting there every year. That's not easy. And if you want to ignore that and think, oh, that's loser talk, then do it. You can do that. I don't do that. I don't think winning games and divisions and playoff games and moving through the playoffs and coming just short sometimes, coming a little bit less short other times, I don't think that's loser stuff. It's a 44-year-old guy who hasn't broken through yet. If you want to move on from that, knock yourself out. I'm going to call you insane, not me.
Well, they're not moving off him. So there is a middle ground between fire Kyle right now and he can do no wrong. And I don't think that you're saying that he can do no wrong. No. But to me, you look at the reality of the situation, which is you've gotten your team to the final 4 teams remaining for the last 5 years. You went to overtime in the Super Bowl. Your team didn't win it. He's got a long-term deal. You have a quarterback on a rookie deal, and you have a lot of your core players coming back. So you look at all those things together, and you realize you're still in pretty good shape. This is not a flash-in-the-pan situation. This is not you getting lucky and getting to one Super Bowl. This is not Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers going 15-1 against the last-place schedule and getting lightning in a bottle and never being heard from again. This has been built. This is sustainable. And here you are again at the end of it. And if you keep on knocking on the door, you're more likely to be Andy Reid than you are Marv Levy.
Yeah, of course. And I am of the opinion, and you can hate me for it, but if the ball doesn't bounce off of a special teamer's foot, the 49ers probably win the game. And many of you have decided that means Kyle's game plan doesn't work. I think that's ridiculous.
But there were many, many more mistakes than just that
one. Of course, but I'm giving you an example of something that's got nothing to do with Kyle Shanahan. Literally,
I think it's attention to detail.
Nothing to do with his game plan. Nothing to do with his approach. Nothing
it has to do with his coaching, though.
But his play calling. I mean, and by the way, it's an interesting comment.
Yeah, coach a guy to fall on a football that's loose on the ground.
Or coach a guy when he's yelled at to clear, which he didn't do.
Right.
I mean, they were coached to do that. He didn't do it. I mean, it's just
right. And your return man, should be coached to not try to bend over and pick up a football. You should dive on it.
And your superstar linebacker should know that when he intercepts a game-ending pass, he should probably fall down, but he didn't.
Got away with it.
And we all laughed at it.
Yeah.
So,
there's a lot of the things you can look at. And ultimately, it all comes back to the head coach.
But you can't control all these crazy people. They're football players.
Of course.
It's just like the parenting analogy we made earlier. Like, I love it. Tell your kids what to do, then they'll do it, right? Good luck.
Every time.
I mean, what on earth?
My kids never cross me. The little one's already, she learned how to say no about a month ago.
I got such an argument waiting for me when I get home today. Can we just do the show till 9?
Seriously.
Oh.
No. Miley, you want milk? No. I want milk. Whoa. Hold on a minute, my. I just asked you if you wanted milk, and you said no. Yeah, it's like raising Grandy at home.
No is fun to say.
Really fun.
It is.
She hits me with the no all the time. No.
Like literally,
no.
If you are a yes man, that's like it's a bad connotation. What if you're a no man?
She's a no lady. She's a no girl. No. She hits me with so many no's.
Yaz in San Jose. Hey, Yaz, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Love the show.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
I just want to bring up. I want to bring up one thing, man. People are talking about going second in overtime is a better decision. I don't know if I agree. I mean, in this case, maybe you don't want to give him a home. You know, you don't want to. He knows what he has to do. He's going to go for on 4th down. To me, let's play through some scenarios, right? You kick the field goal, which they did. Mahomes needs to score a touchdown anyway. You score the touchdown, right, in the second scenario. He still needs a touchdown and probably goes for 2. The third scenario, which people aren't about, is what if both teams went 3 and out, right? And then you get the ball back. You just need a field goal to win.
Yeah.
I know that's not the way the game was going, but I don't know. I'm not convinced that going second is the better position. And then the second thing I want to say is I called about a year ago after the Eagles lost, and I defended Shanahan, and I said sports is 60% luck when it comes to 2 evenly matched teams, and I stand by that. And you just said it, Mark. When the ball hits a special teamer's foot, he's not even looking. Like, how? I don't know. It's unlucky, and until Shanahan gets that monkey off his back, he'll always be criticized for these losses that I don't believe are his fault. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, yes, thanks, man. You're absolutely right. Yes. And that's the way it works, and Kyle gets paid for that, and so he'll survive. It's all fine and good. The overtime thing's interesting. You know where I've arrived? I think both teams can be right based on their personnel and their plan. It's a little bit of a poker match. If you had known that the Chiefs, let's say Niners get ball, touchdown, Chiefs go down, get touchdown, Chiefs are going to go for 2. Patrick Mahomes has now said that publicly. If you knew that, then you'd be like, well, now the third possession doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Right.
So maybe we would go second. However, I agree with what Ross Tucker said earlier on Steiny and Goo, and you and I talked about it yesterday, which is that I'm not taking the ball second unless I am going for 2. So the Chiefs have said we would go second because we would go for 2. Well, I don't know if the Niners would do that. And with their personnel, I don't know that I don't agree with that. So therefore, if you're going to be the second team with the ball, but not commit to going for 2, which brings a third possession higher into play, then going first, in my opinion, is right. So in this case, maybe both Kyle and Andy were both right.
Well, it depends also on the circumstances, and this is where, and John Lynch spoke to this earlier today when he talked about the fact that their defense is coming off an 11-play drive, and you didn't want to throw them immediately right back out there and have them play defense again. So I do think that there are some circumstantial elements to this in terms of not just looking at the analytics. That being said, in my mind, playing for a third possession is a loser mentality. You're just basically, you're expecting something to happen that may or may not happen. You're waiting for a third possession.
But that's everything.
But that's a loser mentality, in my opinion. To me, the winning mentality is get the ball second, control your own destiny, and no matter what they do, Kansas City, no matter what you do, Mahomes, we're going to have a chance to match or beat you, and we're going to know what we need to do.
I agree with you.
There's power in that.
I'm with you if you're going for 2. But if you're not, I just don't see how it helps you.
Right. Well, if you get it second, then you're definitely going for 2.
But I don't know that that's how every team feels. The Chiefs have said that. I don't know that every team would do that.
Right. And I would imagine.
Like, I would do it too if I had Mahomes. That's why it's funny to me. I would do it
if I had Kyle Shanahan's laminated play sheet.
Maybe.
You pick your best 2.5-yard play that you've ever dreamt of, and you win the damn Super Bowl.
What could go wrong?
Monkey off back. Narrative ended.
Or the ball bounces off of someone's shoulder pad and
Joker.
You're the worst coach ever.
He already is the worst ever.